Okay, good afternoon once again. My name is Dr. Uja, and we have been discussing PAD 403 Democratic Studies. We started these lectures, I think we've had 2 sessions of this very class, and we began by giving an explanation of what democracy is all about, the principles and practices of democracy as it is known today, the origin, the historical perspective, that have laid the foundation for modern day practice of democracy. And we traced the Greek city-state. We talked about other aspects of democracy, ranging from the issues of separation of power to the rule of law, to the fundamental human rights that exist as basic principles of democracy, and how the human-centeredness of democratic principles and practices makes it stand out against other considerations or above other considerations, as the case may be. And we said also that almost all countries of the world today are democratic countries, and that they abide by the principles and practices of democracies, or they are guided by the tenets of democracy, as the case may be. And in the beauty of it all, we said that the relevance of democracy revolves around the fact that the individual is the supreme target and the most recognized body within the principles and practices of democracy. So having said that, we talked about political parties. We also looked at the issues of constitutionalism, and we traced to the colonial era from the very first constitution that was put in place in Nigeria that laid the principles for elective positions as it is known. And we traced from the Clifford Constitution to the Macpherson Constitution to the Independence Constitution, and even to the 1999 Constitution, and the relevance of that to the modern day practice of democracy in Nigeria. And then we said in those lectures that in as much as democracy appears very beautiful, the practice of it within the context of third world countries differ greatly from the very advanced democracies of the world. And we made reference to the United States, the practice of democracy in Canada, and we compared that side by side with what we have in Nigeria. And we talked about the advantages and the limitations of democracy also. So today, we shall be looking at, trying to share my screen with you, at organization and structure of party system. Yes, before I go further, I would like to cast your minds back to what we discussed in the last class, saying that people gain political power in democracy or democratic system through the instrumentality of the political parties. And it is through the platform of the political parties that leaders are selected as representatives of the people. In other words, for you to ascend a position of authority within a democratic system, it must reflect the popular will of the people. It must be in tandem with the mandate given to you through an electoral system, with the political parties as the instrument or the vehicle upon which such powers can be gotten. So today we shall be looking at organization and structure of party system. And we said that there are procedures through which people get political party in a democracy, and it is through the instrumentality of the political parties and political organizations. Having said that, party organizations is the internal arrangement by which parties are structured in such a way that it is better positioned and able to fulfill its missions. Having said that, we said the mission of political parties, as it is known, is basically to take over the reins of government in an acceptable mandate of the people's will. As it is known also, the number of political parties in a state or country to a large extent determines what type of government is run in such a state. It is possible that we may have one or few parties that know their limitations and may not pretend to cover the whole country, but most parties prefer to have presence in every part of a country. What this is saying is that the kind of political party to a large extent determines the type of government or the type of system that runs in such a country. Like a one-party system, for example, cannot be referred to as a democratic system. It may have some features of democracy ranging from how it relates to the individual or the positions or the relevance the individual occupies within the confines of that system. But the beauty of democracy is the fact that it avails the electorate a range of choices where decisions or opinions or choices can be made from. And that is where you now have the issues of two-party system or multi-party system, as the case may be. So